I got the offer call already.
Got you. But we gave you a copy of that. Did we give you a copy of that, Nadia? Oh, shoot, my bad, man. I could give you a copy
actually,
now.
he's not launched yet, so we'll just save that till after lunch.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah. So he hasn't, did you get the email and all that?
Good question. Yes, I think you got the email and the questions. I think you did the questions.
Questionnaires.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you start cutting that out?
Yeah, I think he did it, and I think he emailed it on. I think to you guys, I think he did.
Oh, yeah. Sure did. Okay, yes, yeah. I did. All right, cool. Okay, so what we're gonna start doing here, it's just this part here, this sheet, right? I think this is the part here that's the most important in terms of honoring the partnership. And what it says us and it says you, right? Us meaning you, obviously. And what you want people to know is honoring the partnership on your part. You know, basically, you know, you're taking time away from your family and you want to go through all of these, right? And understand what it is that the partnership is all about. This whole thing here today, by the time you guys leave, hopefully this will all be clear in terms of honoring the partnership and what that actually means. Okay, so, and so this is pretty much self-explanatory for everybody, right? Also, when you're sending out the email to your potential prospect or the new partner, you also want to they should have a full grasp on everything. Basically, you don't want to help them with the questionnaire. They should know exactly based on your MG1, MG2, and throughout the process. Okay? It's not for us, it's for them, because they need to understand what it is that they're getting involved. So based on their understanding, that is what those questionnaires are for. Okay? So that is also very
What will
important.
happen if you coach them?
If you coach them, you obviously are going to basically give them the answers that would impress the upline, obviously, and we would say, oh wow, they really got a grasp on this, but in actuality, they don't. And so it really will hurt the new idea because they really don't understand the full process, you know. And for us, we think, oh great, they do. And so that's a good honoring partner, and you might still have a lot of questions and are not sure. So it's very, very important that they actually answer those questions honestly to their understanding of what they felt so far. Okay, so that's important. Also, we're gonna just wait for another few more minutes while Aaron can come. But the launch part, the part one, where you register them from Amway. You know, you guys have all that amount. Register them right away to BWW. Everybody here is registered, right? Except for Dale, right? So you all are on BWW. Okay. So today we're also going to give you our Kumar's website for yourself as well. And that website is unlimited. And I'm going to write it. Unlimited U dash K team. .com. Yeah, okay. And the password on that is, our username is leader, and the password is KT10,000. Okay. Right now, the site, all of these paperwork you'll find on the website. It also has some international markets which are probably not relevant to you.
So
you guys all got that, right? Okay, so that website is not to be shared with anyone. It's just for your no-cross lines, or anyone should be, you know, outside of this room or not see our tenants team should have that information, basically. All right, so those are the websites that you want to register. And then, of course, everyone here has probably read the Magic of Thinking Big, since you guys are all in March. And one of the things that is extremely important, which I don't believe sometimes to kind of skip on that step, is giving the samples. Are we still doing the samples? A little goodie bag sample when you get that new IPO launch. Okay, so that's something that is very important that you give them, twist tubes, excess, protein bars, any one of the stuff to eat, give them that. Preferably eating stuff. That's actually very important, because if you want them to do volume, you have to give them samples of certain things that may not necessarily come in your kit. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So you mean give the prospect samples?
That's the process, the new launch.
Oh, the new
This is all
launch.
about launch.
Okay, so that is like.
It's the process of getting them launched.
Okay.
Yes. Okay?
Oh, yeah, just Kennedy saying, to announce that the password needs to be in lowercase. Yeah, that's like the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just write it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just guys, I'm just going to pass this in lowercase, okay? So yes.
Okay, so yes, you give those personal, but one of the things that we miss opportunities are the Amway credit card. Okay, make sure, right, for the people who qualify for that, you want to get a Khamta. We do about 60 to 70 points just on credit card. Things that we're going to use anyway. Now I have incentives to use my own card. So guess what? Anywhere I go, I use my Amway card, my Amway Visa. So I'm getting those points back. It adds up. Everything you buy, it adds up, right? And so at the end of the month, 50, 60 points just come right away, okay? So that's one of the things that you want to take advantage of. As you live your life, you're making TV, right? So open up a personal checking account, which is very important. You're now in business, so you want to make sure that you have your own personal business account, okay? And that's very important. And you can also change your method of receiving your payments from Amway to direct deposit, and you can put that account information in there so that the Amway Corporation can send that to you directly, okay? Look through your household and see all the products that you need. For example, if you're a brand new launch right now, you might be coming into a lot of the things that you've been using. Do not replace any of them. Write a list of all the things that you need to order. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about the budgeting session and how you get all this stuff replaced in your home, okay? If you are a business owner, you should be using your own product, period. That's it, okay? Browse through the Amway website, and that's one of the things that you want to do with the new launch. Go take them through the website, show them the different categories, of type of products, the neutral light, or the artistry, the home care. Go through all of those things, and by now you would have a clear idea as to whether or not they're into beauty products, or they're fanatic about cleaning. And those are the questions you would ask them. What would be more interesting to you? Take them through the website, let them see that, give them a tour, okay? And of course, they should be reading, listening, and watch the BWW TV. Make sure at this point they should be attending all association, right? And those daily accountability messages are very important. Okay, so that's what you want to make sure that you're teaching if you launch. Okay, is that clear to everybody? And if you have to take these sheets, take them with you until it becomes where you can do them without them. Okay, but it's very important that you get all of these here. Okay, and then of course the part 2 of launch, which is the web tour, and this is where you do the full tour of the website. Show them where on the website has a lot of resources, right? A lot of for new launch, there's a part where they can go on about all the different products where they get credits for doing all these different courses. Okay, so you want to take them through that so they learn about the products. Okay, the other thing that you want to do is that you want to then help them to start getting closer to that Eagle volume, right? Everybody know here what the Eagle volume is? What is it?
States honoring the partnership rate.
Huh?
States honoring the partnership rate.
No, what is the Eagle volume?
Oh,
Eagle volume? Single Eagle volume?
PV. Yeah.
PV, the PV.
150% of agreement per meeting.
Oh, there you go. Well, maybe I'm not speaking your language. Let's get on the same page. 150, right, you're absolutely right, 150 for single, and 300 as a couple, okay? 150 PV as a single, you might ask, how can you do that, okay? A lot of, in some groups, there are not very highly professional people, students and all these different, but they somehow get that 150 points, and I'll tell you how you do it. If you replace your one meal, can you guys replace one meal to a protein bar, right? You replace one of those, drink one excess. Can you drink one excess a day? For some people, it's more than one, right? You replace that. Can you get on a men's or women's pack? Can you guys do that? You can do that, right? Brush your teeth. Wash your mouthwash. If you add up all those things, right? Because excess, what do you need? 2 cases of excess. For that, you probably need 2 cases of protein bars, right? And when you add up all of those things, ideally you want to get on double X, but if you can, as a student, get on that. Women's pack is good, men's pack. So you want to be able to eventually, when you add all those up, it might come out to about 90 PV, right? You add more things to that, obviously, your personal care, your soap, shampoo, all the different things that you're using. And our upline always says, and I love what he says, there's 2 categories. There's your expense category, which is your liability, and then the other side is your investment or your assets. Okay, and so every time you spend anything outside that's not going towards building your asset, it's just basically an expense. That's all it is. It's a liability. It just goes out. You get nothing for it. Every time you spend, if you look at the column, every time you spend something in your business or towards, that's educating you towards your business, or helping you further, you're investing in that goes towards your asset column, right? You're building your asset. Does that make sense? So if you understand that, every money that you have, I know as students, you guys don't have a whole lot of money. Some of you work part-time jobs, whatever. That's okay. You can still do your volume. Do whatever it is that you can do. And then whatever you can in terms of after you're done, all your personal, then you look for your customers, okay? 10 good customers is all you need. 10, sometimes if they just buy maybe 1 or 2 things, you might need a little bit more. But if you set up a customer with excess, right, on a monthly basis, right, a few of them on excess, it's like 7 points, almost 8 points for an excess, right? Right, so you 10 times 8, right?
and
So, go ahead.
you have perfect examples right here of students who have been able to do that. Celia, I've done that as a student. Rodney Wilson, I've done that as a student. Roderick, so there's Jonathan, right? There are a lot of students who have done that. So they're the right ones to guide you in how to redirect your money,
Also, the family and friends, those are your A-list people, or the A-list, or people on your A-list. If they're, your grandma or your aunts who are elderly, who are really not interested in possibly build a business, those are excellent clients for Nutrilite, because as you get a certain age, health is very important. So you want to introduce them, do demonstrations, very important to show them those demos. We have twisters, we have so many things that you can create. 50 PV or 60 PV client is actually a joke. The reason it's not being done is because we're not taking the time to do it. But to do it.
After they did the grand opening, how do they make them the family and the clients?
Okay, so after you've done, you hit up the family and you give them what I've done. Personally, what I do is I give samples, right? I give them samples, try the vitamins, things that you want them to try. Give them samples of it. Try this. Let me know how you feel. I'll call you back in a few days, you know, and you have to follow. Follow-up is the key when you're trying to get these clients for not just a one-time client, but someone that can actually get on Ditto and buy these things on a monthly basis. They have to see one thing is the benefit. Is there a benefit to using this particular product? Yeah, they're gonna try to help you, but maybe 1 month, right? To try to encourage you and help you in the business. But at some point, you know, month 2, month 3, and keep on going from there, they have to see the benefit for themselves. So you have to find out.
Also, how about a new person, when they do with their family? Some of them are not able to, close the sale.
Okay, perfect. For a lot of the families, you know, you might be just their little sister or brother, they may not take you really seriously, and that's where you need the upline. Extremely important that the upline is in there, but the upline is not in there just for the grand opening. The upline is in there to make sure that at the end of all of this, that you get a customer set up on Ditto. So unless that happens, the upline needs to help you to get that until that Ditto gets set up.
But at some point, should they be able to do that for themselves?
Absolutely. Your whole goal is to be able to learn what they're doing and saying. Some people just won't get on Ditto, guys. Let me just let you know. They just wouldn't, they'll say, I'll just get it from you, you know, whatever, that's okay. You know, it's fine. Those people you don't worry about. But some, I'll give you an example of my personal self. I told you guys this last week at Pace, where, you know, I follow back with my aunt. You know, she loves the product, she wants to get them. Guess what? Ditto, right? I'm putting her on Ditto because I don't have the time to remember every single one. I need to call my aunt. Or if you have to do that in your phone to remind you that you need to call them initially, do it, you know, because that is important. That is very important that you do that to make those follow-up calls, okay? So I think we're getting started, that we're on this here.
Yes,
So,
Nadia was just going through some preliminary stuff there. So we really now want to kick it off, all right? So we back in Tallahassee here, so we also have some Georgians here, people from Virginia, North Carolina, right? So this is a great team, special training, and like I say, team. Right? I'm here to talk about honoring the partnership of basically these things they want to lead up to Camargo Diamond 7 Springs. And there's a special promotion going on right now. Sanjeev spoke to Camargo a couple days ago. And
I sent it out already.
Right, and he said that come for the month of March, which is this month here, it should have 3 legs, and for each month you launch 1. So these people who launch 1 either in the month of March, or you have 3 legs, you can get onto that special conference call. If you don't have this qualification, you're not eligible for the call, period. Okay? And then, so the month of April, again, if you launch anyone that launches 1, and so that 1 plus 3 is 4, and in May, is 5, and then in June is 6. So what is the 6 it basically brings you to? It's an eagle. Eagle, that's the qualification to come here, come out, go down, it's legal. So, and as an eagle, you also have to be honoring the partnership fully to qualify. Okay? So anybody here right now can qualify for that. Okay? So that's where you want to speak a lot more about things. So it's all about team, right? This business is about team because what we do when you get launched, anyone, right? Okay, Trevor, right? Trevor got launched. So what are we looking to do? Is to build a team around Trevor, right? That is going to give him a structure of, you know, eagle structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. An eagle structure. Okay? So that's what we're talking about, what? Teamwork. So I'm going to talk about something to illustrate how teamwork really works. Because as an individual, I by myself cannot become an eagle. Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay? So anybody familiar with rafting, or you know, have you ever seen the speed people that rows the boat? Yeah. Right? That is team, that's a teamwork and team effort, right? Okay, how does that work? Right? Anyone? It's a team effort, right? They have to practice, right? And you know, you have to come here, you have to have a boat and a board. So I want you to tell me if you know where this comes from. Row your boat.
Nah.
Down the street. Right, row your boat then. Okay. So now for teams to be effective, for you to be effective in this thing, everyone has to row, right?
Yes.
You know, and they say they want to have like 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. 4. What happens if one doesn't row? It's not going to be consistent. It's not going to go smooth. It may even go in a circle because if 2's pulling on one side and 1 is pulling on the other side, it's not going to go. Also, there's like someone there's somebody sitting at the back and they have the boat. What is that person doing? They're coordinating the rowing, right? They say pull left or pull right or whatever. So that's where they keep the boat straight, right? Okay? So on these teams, there can be no slackers, right? Because if you're slacking on one person, slacking on pulling it over again, that's what the boat is not going to go in the right direction, the right speed. So there cannot be no slackers. Likewise, for you to honor the partnership, you should not be slacking in any aspect of honoring the partnership. Because what does this mean here? This word here? Honor. What does that mean to you guys? Tell me something. What does honor mean? Anyone? Be what? Loyal? Anybody else? Accountable, right? Take ownership, you know, right, of your business and honoring that partnership between yourself and the person who's working with you. Okay? Right? Partnership. Right? That's what it is about. Is one or more individuals working together for mutual benefit. Right? So honoring the partnership is the, you know, right? Okay, so each person must do their part if the team is to be successful. Right? Each person must do their part. You hear the word, you must do your part to be successful. Now, what would happen if one person decides not to row, period? Right? Like, I don't want to row. Right? The team doesn't make it. Right? So there's no point in time that you can't say that you don't want to do things to honor the partnership, because before you get started in business, right, we go through the whole process, and then we come to the part where we give you this large email for you to fully understand what the business is all about. And Nadia was going through your responsibility and the person sponsoring you, their responsibility. Okay? Right? Not only must everyone row, but they must row with a rhythm. Right? Must have a rhythm to go smooth, right? Okay? And the leader, the person who there, he must give clear, concise communication between the rower, each person who's rowing, or they're going to be what? If it's not confusion, right? That's what the leader is. That's who's the leader here, like you guys. That's the mentor out there, right? Who's that mentor out there? Well, for some people, you know, there are 3 different. So this is the again Trevor, and Trevor has a sponsor, right? Sometimes your sponsor is your coach and your mentor. Like for myself, my mentor, my sponsor is Sanjeev Sahai, Diamond. So he's anybody for me, right? Okay, now for some people here like Trevor, their mentor may be up here, maybe Sile or Kenneth, right? Or myself, independent. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
You must know who's your coach and who's your mentor, right? Okay? Now your roles and responsibilities, and the way you are, you must understand what your roles and responsibilities are. Do you all know what your responsibilities are in honoring the partnership? Does anyone know what are the requirements of honoring the partnership? Yes, no? I need some feedback.
Like 15 minutes every day.
Read 15 minutes every day. All right, that's one of it. Come on.
Listen to one stream a day.
Huh?
Listen to one stream a day.
Listen to streaming every day, right? What else? Anybody? BMP, right? Every day. Anything else? So now you answer that. I mean, I don't expect you to answer anything, right? So like, algebra right now. Anybody else? How about your volume? Now we just spoke about volume, right? That's one of the most important aspects of the business. What does Amway pay you? How do you make your money? 100 points, PV, right? So if you're not doing PV, are you going to make any money? No, you're not, right? So first of all, your PV concept, we have spoke about the personal PV. Right? You must do your personal, right? And this personal here, like you see, must be done in the normally the most of the teams right now is doing it on the first day of the month. Okay? Right? In honoring the partnership, the first day of the month, you do whatever is possible for yourself. For some people, like these students, you can do 50 or 60 PV or whatever it is. I spoke with Rodney last night, he used to do 60 to 70 personals, right? Silly, how much you used to do as a student?
Yeah, about 60.
60 PV. And then what we do now, we get the clients, they go to other 40, like Nadia was talking about just now, right? Okay, now if you're not doing this, are you honoring the partnership?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, you're not. Okay, so you got to do what? Take a look at the list of what requires under the partnership. Identify where you are. You may be listening to the streaming, reading the books, and doing all these things, but the PV is not there. Now, we're not going to push PV, but if you don't do PV, you don't make money, right? Because if I have a team of 10 people here, right, doing 0 PV, how much is that? 0, right? Are you going to make any money? Right? If you're only doing 10 people, only doing 10 PV, is anybody still making any money? That's 100 PV, right? That's just the bottom of the bonus structure. But as a group of Eagle, this is what? How much members should be in a group of as an Eagle structure? At least 10, right? Because you must have some 10, 7 to 10 people. So if you're all doing the PV 10 times 150, that's 1,050 PV or 1,500. See, so that's how you look at your business and to know how it's structured, right? Also, you must have the equivalent of people listening, streaming, and on books, the system, right? Does anyone know how much PV, potential PV, does it produce for you to be on the system? 250 pieces, right? So if people are reading the books, right, they'll just do. Now this thing I just spoke about, row your boat. Does anyone know where that came from? It doesn't know Sri Lanka. But I'm talking about the team and the rowing the boat, and the rafts. Anyone knows where that came from? No? Okay, that's all right. It came from the book of the month. Right? Relationomics. You got it? Anyone have the book? You have it? We haven't read it yet. Right? Yes, sir. Okay. But the point is, right, you have the book, you have to read it. There's a reason why they're giving you these books. So that, see, I am on one page and you are on a different page. Because you haven't read the book at the time that you have. Right? You understand? Or some of the things that you'll be saying will make sense to you because you're not on the system. Right? So then our thought process is not together. Does that make sense? Right? There's a reason why they have all these things. These things are there to help you grow personally. So whereby you can do the things that you needed to do in order to build your business. Right? Okay? So now you also need, a lot of students say you need seed, it's called seed money to build your business. Right? Where would that seed money come from to build your business? Right? But first of all, where would you get the money for to do your PV? Now I was speaking about that earlier. Where would you get that money? Right? Zero is something called what?
The zero-based budget.
Zero-based budget.
Okay, so coming back to, upon getting started, you know, if you need it, most people do, to sit down and get that budget, session going, okay? So as a new person, we have a lot of money that are going out or seeping out, leakage in different areas. You know, buying a simple thing, I'm buying a cup of coffee at Starbucks, it's probably like $4, right? $4 or $5, right? So honestly, do you really need to spend that money there? Maybe not. Maybe drink an excess, right? So it's where you're spending your money. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't have a whole lot of money. But if you look at, you know, for us, Khamta and I, you know, we sit down and look at our bank statement and see where our money is going, our credit card statement and different things, we find that there's a lot of leakage that are going out to different places that are really not doing anything for us. Okay, so that is very important that you do. As a student, you probably know where every penny is going, and that's okay. But you also have money that you spend for coffee or lattes or, you know, donuts or different ways that you're spending your money that you can just redirect your money back. Okay, coming back to the asset building and expenses, that is extremely important. Once you have that in the back of your mind, that every penny that you spend from the money that you have, is it going towards building your asset or building someone else's asset, right? When you're buying in a latte or something from Starbucks, it's definitely not building your asset, right? So understand and know that where your money is being spent. They have money. I mean, I know all of you do, but where you're spending the money is very important. So make sure that you get that done. And again, setting up those clients, set them all up at retail. There's a difference between the retail and wholesale. That's all your profit. That helps you to build your business as well.
So, Brad, we spoke last night about some of the things that you did in order to create the points and what you did with your money. Could you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, firstly, the zero-based budget was key. So getting the budget right. At the time, you know, as a grad student, I had limited income. So what I was able to do is, of course, pay rent and then carve out enough in the budget to do my personal points. So really what I really started to do was replace a meal. I started with breakfast and gave up breakfast, stopped going to McDonald's and other places, and just replaced that with a meal bar. Then eventually I got to the point where I was able to give up some dinners and drink the shakes instead, which are really, really good, the meal replacement shakes. So I ended up replacing 2 meals just so that I could get that volume in, and they were also better meals. So I had a breakfast from the business. I would buy a lunch, and then I would also have dinner from the business. So that was one way of creating volume on a monthly basis, and also drinking 2 excess a day.
And you were also on something, double X and rhodiola?
Yes, double X was life. Definitely needed it, right? Because the benefits of it was I actually wasn't getting everything my body needed, and I was pushing long hours to do my thesis and get all of my assignments done and travel this place for the school. And we have functions, never missed a function, and all of that just because I was able to use the products in the business to actually help my lifestyle. So double X was one that I never got off, and also rhodiola. I needed that to stay focused on a daily basis, and I needed memory builder too in order to retain the information after staying up for long hours. So yeah, that's just some of the things I did.
Thank you, Rod.
Yes.
Now, if 1 and 2 or 3 students can do that, could the rest of you do it also? Absolutely, right? Yeah, and Jonathan also did that too, right? Okay, and they were all just like yourself, students, didn't work, just for doing the studies, Also, another way, when you're gonna have grand openings, if I'm gonna have a grand opening for somebody, we must have products there to display, right? We cannot always depend on Celia or Kenneth to bring the products for your grand opening, right? Because then you're what? Outsourcing your business to your offline. It's not your business. You gotta take charge. So if ever you want to do a grand opening for anybody, you need to find out who's organized, what type of products you're gonna have this. Sometimes a grand opening, if it's going to be mostly ladies, it's going to be focused mostly on beauty products, right? Or home care, right? You know. Okay, so that's another way of creating a volume there, right? So the personal volume.
All right. Personal volume. Okay, so again, you know, the core volume is 150. Okay, for singles, you know, students, it doesn't matter. There's no category for students. You know, it's either you're single and 150 or you're a couple and 300. How about that? Can we all agree, right? Okay, so if you're not there yet, figure it out. Figure out how to get there. See what you need to do. How many clients more you need to get? You know, how many excess more do you need to give to sample out so that people can. And then when you give samples, follow up with them. Hey, how did you like it? How did you feel? Did you feel any different? You know, we have this many flavors. You know, would you like to, you know, try a sample case? Ask for the sale, you know. So that's the only way that people are gonna be able to buy. If you're just giving them out. I was listening to a streaming by Lauren Clickner, and she says, I used to just hand them, I was like, here, try this, and then just walk away. It's like, you know, I might just give, and she said, I was a student, and she says, I really wanted to eat that protein bar, but I gave it out as a sample because that's what you're supposed to do. And she says, but I just gave it and left without even saying, oh, hey, you know, can I order you a box, right? So understand that, you know, when you're giving them, ask for the sale, you know, ask for the sale. Do not be afraid to ask, or would you like to try, you know, maybe a different flavor or a multi, you know, for excess, we have that variety case. Would you like to try our variety case? It has all different flavors in there. You can probably find the one you like. How about that? Or if they're students and they just want one can, I mean, I've known Roger to, you know, you guys sell by cans, right?
Yeah.
You sell by cans. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay?
Has anyone ever done that? Give out a sample to somebody and never asked for an order or something?
You've done it. We've all done it.
What's the reason why you didn't ask for it?
I'm scared of crap. Too much elephant to jump from the side. I was like, yeah, enjoy. Talk to you later.
If your whole family you have done that, right? My mother used to think, and I give my mother, and I don't ask for anything. And she was willing to pay for it, you know? Right? But it's all about just asking, right? And people want to support you in your business. Your family want to do that. They're buying these things from somebody else, right? But if you don't ask them or something, they're gonna go and buy it from somebody, you know? Right? It's simple as that.
Okay. Again, you know, so it is definitely a decision that a personal decision. You can't say you're honoring the partner if you're not doing these things. Okay, so that is why we're here, because we want to make sure that from here moving forward, people understand what honoring the partnership is.
We want to get a lot of people here. That's
you know, yeah, of course. We have Kumar go down, that's coming up. And in I know in the Sahai team, Kumar's team, that's the buzz right now. Everyone is leaning towards going there. The only way you can do that is to have 6 honoring partner legs, right? Okay, or 6 honoring partnership. If you don't have that, you can have 5. We'll wait from you, you know, we'll send you a postcard or something, but you're not going to be there. Okay, so it's very important that you have those 6 honoring partnerships. Okay.
Okay, noted. All right, so, you know, we've been working with the launch, right, lately. So business has, business has stepped back a while until we all caught up with the knowledge and the information about the launch itself. And Nadia and I was out in Atlanta there a couple of days ago in Barnes & Noble. Most of you know Tony and Tony Rodriguez. So he was there to do an MG1. How do you think he was dressed? Yeah. But if it was dressed down with, flip flops or, pants that is not the right or whatever. Okay, because you're talking about business here. You gotta dress properly, right? Like when I go to do things, this is how I'm dressed. And so like we saw Tony had on jeans, very nice, it wasn't ripped up or anything, short or stuck with his pants and jacket and a nice slim tie. And a jacket. They have to be a matching, they have to be a suit or a jacket or something. Because you represent the business, go dress properly. Right? Make impression. Right? So people, whenever you're going out there, even when you're going out conducting, you always dress nice. Before we leave, you look in the mirror and see if you present good, because you never know who you're going to meet when you're going out. Right? Okay? So one of the things there, dress properly. Right? Attendance. One of the things of honoring the partnership is what? Association. Right? When you say association, like there are a lot of students here, right? You came, you sign up for, engineering, and then you get a syllabus of these are the classes that you're going to be taking, right? Does the professor call you and say, Trevor, you come to class today? He doesn't. What do you do? You be in class. Why? Because you're honoring that partnership. So why aren't you honoring the partnership? Not you, Trevor. Just I'm not picking on you, by the way. Maybe I pick on Roderick. Yeah, Roderick got the body to take it. Right? Understand? That's what we see. This is your business here. We don't have a boss relationship, boss employee. Right? You gotta take ownership of your business. You gotta do these are the things that help you to become successful in the business. And what they say, attend what? All association. Attend all your classes. Come prepared to take notes on these things. Right? So you will know in advance of what thing. What are some associations now?
Base meeting on a weekly basis.
Base meeting on a weekly basis. You don't have to pay for that one. Right? Base meeting, that's a Sunday. You set it on a Sunday because you're not working on a Sunday. You should not miss a base meeting. Right? If you miss a base meeting, then you are not what? Fully honoring the partnership. And not only that, then at the same time, you're basically telling the people who's working with you that you really don't value that mentorship. Right? Does that make sense to you? Yeah. What other associations should you be at without being told? Where?
BBS.
BBS. What's a BBS, Ms. Carver? How often do you have that?
After the Green Conference.
Yeah, how many? Once, twice, 2 times a year?
2 times.
4 times a year. The New Year. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. 4 times a year. And then we have major conferences. One is coming up when? When is the next one?
Leadership, 26th to 28th.
26th to 28th of April. Should you be there or not? Absolutely. Right? Nobody should have to ask you. When I got started in the business, Sanjeev took us to the first day. Sanjeev never ever have to ask me again, Khamta, are you coming to this conference? Right? But because we went there, we saw the value of it, we know it's important, we always go. We book our rooms in advance, we book our tickets. Right? Make arrangements with whoever we're going to be traveling up. Right? So if you're honoring the partnership, you should be there on April the 28th. Where should you be? Virginia. Right? Okay. Now, some of you are new, you need to sit with the person who's working with you because of the cost is involved in getting there and tickets and all that, and see how you can work out how to get there. Okay? Right? So that's everything. What else do you have to attend? You guys have to take every week. Information, right? Every week you come in. Right? This is free to grow. Right? This is and right now it's free for you guys, you don't pay. Other places you have to pay to get that association. Right? So make use of it. Come here. Come what? Regularly, consistently, and what? On time. Right? Think about it. I always tell my children that. I say, anytime you're going anywhere, think about if you're going to catch in the line. catch a flight. You're going to be late for your flight? Are you going to be late for your, you'll be early. Absolutely. In fact, you'll be what? 1 hour early or 2 hours, depending if you're going international. You'll be there early, right? You're not going to miss that flight. Okay? Be here early, leave late. Help out in the meeting here. Come and help set up and all that stuff. Pace meeting, you set up. Right? Those are the things that the people, the mentor that is working with you look at to see, because remember, they're investing their time. So what we talk about, where you dress, attendance, right? The personal value. We did that. Now I just spoke about the email offer, right? About you got that paper already, right? About email offer, right? You need to go over it yourself, so you know the answers, they study, and then whenever you get any new launch, you do it with them, right? Time management. You're all students and we all working, right? Anybody here have a problem with time management? You know, like a very busy project, you're busy, you're doing a lot of stuff. How do you manage your time?
Yeah, follow that the calendar.
The calendar,
Yeah, schedule.
the schedule stuff, right? See, that you're also very busy too.
Yeah,
Right.
Schedule another that we can,
Scheduling.
Yeah, not just events to put on my calendar, but putting the preparation time for each event. So, like for instance, if I know for a fact, if I go to work from 8 to 5, what's the earliest time for me to set MG1? Especially if sometimes at work I don't have to be properly dressed. I know that sounds awkward, but I'm not fully, like, I'm not business professional at work. So that means I know how much time do I need, 45 minutes to go home, dress, probably take a bite, and then get to my MG1, so that I'm not rushing from work, not properly dressed to make my MG1. So the really good thing is called an activity management.
Does everyone have access to that activity management sheet or what you're talking about?
But we talked about it, but I don't know if I talked about it recently with you guys.
Probably too cozy for us.
No, it's just a second calendar.
Oh,
It's another calendar, and then I think we have another one for.
but it doesn't have to be that specific, but do what you're saying, right?
Okay, right.
You know, just schedule your stuff,
Yes.
right? Like Nadia and I do before, we used to just do things haphazardly, and then we seem to like very busy, we don't have the time.
Right.
And like she normally what Nadia would do, we go out, she bought some groceries or whatever she had to buy, and then we went home, and then, oh, I gotta go here, and I gotta go there. So I said, no, come on, you know what? Let's plan how we go in, how we come back, where you're gonna stop, right? So, and at the same time as we going out, we are what doing? What are we doing?
Contacting.
Intentionally have a conversation, right? And in fact, that's one of the things that people do that regularly. Yes or no? Yes, how regular?
Every day.
Every day. It's your business. If you're working, you go to school, you go to work every day. Yes, yes. Go to school, you go to work every day, right? Well, this is your business. Shouldn't you be doing it every day?
Yeah.
Right? So likewise, we used to plan exactly how we go about doing things, and also there is before I go home, if I don't have some conversations or have a contact, I don't go home until I get home, right? How much of those conversations should you have in a day or a weekly basis?
Yeah, it's 3 to 5.
At least 3 to 5. If you're not having at least 3 to 5, then what we're doing, you're actually extending the time for your business for you to get to the platinum level, right? You want to come and add something to what we do?
Well, basically, in terms of your time, you guys figure out when you do these things. For our Planchana, she says what works for her is in the mornings. She gets before 12 o'clock, she gets all her stuff done, in terms of what she has to do, like the activity in the business, in terms of, reading, in terms of streaming, in terms of maybe dropping a conversation on her way back and forth to wherever it is that she goes. She's there talking to people. So by the time 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock comes around, she's got check. I've already done these things, right? So you figure out what works for you. For me, it's the morning when I wake up, I have a cup of tea, and then I listen to our streamings. You read, at nighttime I like to read, but sometimes you fall asleep, let's be honest, you fall asleep. And so I realized that, I can't, read at night when I'm trying to go to bed. So what I do is I read in the morning. That works better. You get more into it. And as Khamta was talking about that book, excuse me, the book of the month, the last book of the month, last month, it's an incredible book, guys. Everything that we do in this business, it is about relationships. It's about developing relationships. And if you read that book, you will understand exactly what, and when you listen to it, it's like it's talking to you. He talked about the
ER factor. Anyone know what the ER factor? Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy when you read the book and you're, yeah, it's like, my goodness, and as you're reading it, you see situations, life situations that could have been avoided, things that could have been, not, is that Sanjeev? Okay, that could have been avoided had you just, have more knowledge, maybe read more, listen more, and so if you understand, Khamta, are you going to talk about that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
So it's like, if somebody says that I'm smarter than you, right? Or nicer, or more into, the earth. NICER, SMARTER. Anything is any like that? Give me some words. Bigger, stronger, handsome word. If there's a word like that.
Smarter.
But you see when people speaking like that or they feel like that, this guy say, you see, that's not good for relationship building, right? Because this business is all about building relationship. Right? If I'm telling Roderick that I'm smarter than you, you think we're gonna have a good relationship? Then he said, if you have that, then if you have those things going on, then it's what? That relationship is what? Over.
OVER.
But guess what? You get it? Yeah. Right? Makes sense? If you're talking to somebody and yourself and I'm talking like I'm more smarter than you, I'm more intelligent or whatever, the relationship is over.
It's only a matter of time.
Right. But so the ER, what does the ER stand for? E is what? Ego. And R is rivalry. Right? So when you have
those two consist together,
right,
it will never work.
The relationship will never work.
So understand that is extremely important. When you read that, when Khamta and I were reading, we were cracking up, we were laughing because it was so hilarious, right? Because if you read the stories and the things that he's talking about, it's like genius, it's like, it is so funny, but it's so important because this whole business, it doesn't matter how good you do all the steps and everything else, if you can't keep people together, if you can't have relationships that are, meaningful, that means something, that there is a mutual respect and trust between that relationship, it's like Khamta said, it's over.
So,
so understand that is extremely important in building teams, in having relationships, in as you're, and I'm telling you, read the book. If you didn't start reading it yet, as soon as we got it, we just started diving into it.
No, I like to read my books as soon as I get it because I want to be ahead of the team, because I know there's some people like Sile, right, and Rod and Kenneth, they read the book right away and then they may say something that I don't understand. No, I'm serious, right?
To stay ahead of your team.
You want to stay ahead of your team.
Absolutely.
Also, you can able to educate and talk to them about it, right? Because if you are serious about the business, eventually you're going to be the leader of your team, right? You got to take charge of your business eventually. You're going to be the one rowing your own boat, right?
Right. So yeah. Anyways, so those relationships are glue. Everything that you do, you want to get that glue and bond even closer with your team. In terms of that, again, mutual trust and respect. Those things, once it's gone, forget about it. okay? It's over, like Khamta says, party's over, okay? So, okay, so some of the things that we follow in the business, you know, as we all know, are some of the cardinal rules, things, some of the nevers, some of the things that you don't do. And I was listening to another CD, a streaming that talked about we're not talking about the red bird, the cardinal. We're actually talking about things that are actually important and that you don't mess with. You know, some things that they're like they say casting stones or whatever it is, those are some of the cardinal rules. One of the things is that you should never do something for the first time without checking your with your upline, or you're going upline, the person you're working with, whoever, your upline, okay? Never do anything for the first time without checking. Why? Because it will save you a lot of time and money, because you might have this genius idea that will give you no results, will cost you a lot of money and time and effort, and you would say, oh my God, it's just completely negative to you, okay? So it is a very important check. If you have an idea, check it with your upline. Run it by them, see what they say, see what your codes say about them, okay? Never pass negative downline, cross lines. Now understand, you guys know what cross lines are. I know it's a very new team. Cross lines are someone that's Roderick and you are cross lines, right? Because you're not in the same line of sponsorship, right? You're cross lines. So understand what that means. If you're not in C-lanes, like the team, like below you would be your downline, above you would be your upline. Anything other than that is your cross line. Does that make sense? Right? Everybody knows that, right? So even though you have cross lines that you're associating with you become a team, everybody's really happy, everybody's, sometimes you can cross that line where you can start talking to the cross line about maybe saying something that, oh, I'm doing this stuff, or, I'm doing this in my business, blah, blah, blah. That is not something that you say to your cross line. You have to know your line below you and down and up. That is your line of sponsorship, okay? So don't go outside of that and counseling or give advice or tell people what to do. That's a no-no, okay?
I know you guys are new in your excitement. You're gonna want to share information and talk with each other, but like Nadia said, the cross line, it can affect not only your the cross line business, but your own business, plus your upline business,
So you don't pass any negative downline or cross line. Every situation only goes up to your upline, okay? And we don't have negatives, we have situations, right? So if there's something happening, talk to your upline, okay? So never pass negative upline, downline, cross line. Never mess with anyone, money, spouse, or ego. We talk about that, right? You don't want to mess with that, because this is a cash and carry business. Everything that you see, everything, whether it be tools, whether it be product, somebody paid for it, okay? So when you're taking stuff, make sure that you, same thing, when you're going to functions, tickets cost money. Somebody, like now I love the fact that everybody can just go online, purchase their own ticket. I don't have to come out $3,000 every year, and think about it. If it's $3,000 for me, what is it for my upline, right? So when we used to have to get the tickets from our upline, it's a lot of money. It adds up to a lot of money. So somebody's taking that cost. So understand that this is a cash and carry business. Everything is done. Pay your upline. If you take something from them, pay them. If you owe them for a ticket, if you owe them for rides, whatever it costs to go to the function, take care of those accounts, guys. That's one of the relationships you never want to mess up with. You can be late on your rent. Your landlord, you know what? He'll figure it out. He'll get over it. But when it comes to the uplines, that's how we work with our upline. We do not mess that we don't cross that line, because we want to make sure that that's taken care of. We want them to see us in that light, not anything else. Look at me and say, oh, you didn't pay me that $30 you owed me. As soon as they look at me, like, oh my God.
Or your check bumps.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So those are the things that you never do, guys. So we get it, we're all good. Okay.
Well, also, a simple thing that maybe negatively you may not understand it right now, is that if we have a function coming up, You don't let the people in your downline know that you're not coming, right? Because what they may be thinking, they may not, why do I need to go there if you're not going, right? You may have a genuine situation why you cannot come, but you don't let them know that. You speak to your upline, right? Because now you, like CJ may have, Nana she just have two new launches here, right? And CJ would never, but she would say, Khamta, I'm not, she know what about it. They come, we are there, we receive them, and we,
Yeah.
right?
And the reason you wouldn't be coming to an association is if you're gonna get fired from your job. Money-wise, we can figure it out, guys. This is a product business, product business. We can sell products. We can help you to do whatever it is to take so that you can make it to these events because it is so important. This whole business about changing your mindset. If you're stuck at this level and you're not changing that mindset, that's the result you're gonna get. So you understand that these associations are put for that reason, is so that you can change this. When you change this, then you can, you can change everything else. The money starts to come. You start attracting the right people. You start, things start happening in your life that you're looking like, oh my God, what's happening? It's because you're changing the way you're, thinking, the way you're talking, the way you're doing things. Everything has a purpose now. Right? And so when you start living life like that, I've been through, you guys heard Stephanie, right? When she was talking about living your life on purpose, and everything that you do should reflect what it is that you're looking to accomplish in your life. And guys, I'm telling you, I know that Kumar had talked about this, money, it is not the only factor that's going to get you to drive in this business or to go. It has to be a bigger cause. It has to be something that you're looking to, make, for me, I'm looking to make a difference not just for my generation, but beyond that. We're looking to change lives of women, bringing them home, and get them home, let them be able to raise their own children, do things what they want to do, and be empowered at the same time, and be powerful. Those are some of the goals that, that's beyond us. That's not money. It's not money driven. Money, after everything is taken care of, then, like Kumar says, if you hit the lottery, then you're gone. So that because money is there, right? They'll take care of everything, guys. But what's more important is what is the real reason you would do this? What is the driving factor that is beyond the money thing? So you figure that out. Figure that what drives you. Maybe it's to lead teams. Maybe I don't know. Whatever it is, figure it out. So that because the money alone is not going to be enough. Because at some point you'll make so much money in this business that it will take care of everything else that you have to do. Then what, right? So you just figure that out. Okay. We talked about honoring the partnership, and some of the partnership daily habits are what? Reading, streaming, going out there and having those conversations, sending those messages to your upline. Okay, having conversations, having conversations, role play with your upline, okay? If you're out there, before you go out on the fields, we're not gonna throw you to the wolves. Learn your story, right? Write your story down. There's a short version and then there's a long version, right? If you only have a couple minutes, you're in line somewhere, use the short version. I use my short version for everything. I really don't get into big details, right? Use your story. Our story is that we bumped into a couple that was, my husband and I were in the mall shopping, and we bumped into this couple, had a really good conversation. They were both very young, they were in their 30s, and they were both retired. And we were, what do you guys do? We were very curious to know what they did. They told us that they helped, they mentor people into creating assets. We were like, how do you do that? And they, they said, if you guys were really serious, we will sit down with you. And we, pursued them and got their time. And so we sat down with them, and over the years, they have helped us develop assets where I wouldn't have to go to work anymore. Those one of the choices that I've been a full-time mom for 19 years. And they're like, tell me more. What do you do? That's when you, get the digits and be out of there. Okay? I don't want to get into too many details. Done. Once I drop my story, it's either they pick it up, like Sabine said, or, you know, be gone, you know?
So I want to give you one example with Nadia herself. We were in Barnes and Noble, and she was in line to get a Starbucks. That's minus a zero budget, okay? And it was a young lady with a 11-year-old girl. Nadia thought was her daughter, thought her to be her niece. And in the conversation, Nadia said, you know, I'm in my business, I have my own business. The 11-year-old niece said, what kind of business?
What business are you in? And I'm like, oh, she picked it up. What about you know? And guess what? The conversation was over. Because, you know, I said something, she picked up on
The
it.
kid picked up.
But not the adult. She was happier just working in Clayton County. Good for you.
So there was no need for her to drop the message.
That's it. It was over, you know. So understand when you're talking, you throw out certain things. And the little kid was like, she was so curious. I was like, oh, look at you. You want to know about business, huh?
Gotta take her number. Next 7 years. I don't know.
10 years.
Exactly.
But the thing about it, you see, it's not a natural thing for us to go out and to talk to strangers. In fact, it was one of the hardest things for me to do. But my sponsor, Sanjay, he was very patient. He took me out and, you know, he did a conversation. I stood up next to him. My heart was the same. Now it's different. We have the process. You know, we have like, you know, stories, right? You practice the
It's so
stories.
much more refined.
It's so much refined now, you know. But before I went out and made a whole lot of mistakes. Well, it's the same thing. Even though you have the story, you go out there, you got to do it, make some mistakes, you know. And if you don't do it, you know what? It's 100% loss, right? And if you do it, it's a 50-50 chance that they're looking. And you know what? It's more than a 50-50 chance now because 90% of people are looking for something, right? Like we went to the Barnes and Noble. Oh no, we went to this. This is our usual route that we go around. So we go to this place called Nadia. It's a Korean grocery, buy, you know, fruits and vegetables. Then I was playing little games with them like I'm going home because they said they're going to Starbucks. Anya and Nadia. And then I said I'm going home, not knowing that they say, okay, they'll go home too. So what I did, we go
It was already 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. So I sped around the corner, went over to Starbucks and went inside, and I was waiting for them to come. But as I was going, there was a young man that had booked exams for real estate, right? So immediately I sat down right next to him, and that was very easy to see. But if you're not doing it regularly, it was hard. But because I do it all the time, it's easy. Say, hey, man, and some serious studies. You don't have to be anything special to break the ice. It's just something that you can relate at that moment right there. You know, but I'll go to that. But you know what? They left and they went home. And I'm waiting for them to come to Starbucks. Right? But in the meantime, I was speaking to the guy.
I told him there was a reason you had to go to
Yeah,
Starbucks. I just had to put it out there.
Right.
And up to that point in time, we had conversations, but I didn't get a number. Right? And then we were talking, I spoke to him. Since I was there, I had more time, so I had a longer story than the short version. So I went into a little bit of mentoring and all that stuff. And he's like, and you know, it turned out to be that he did the same exact thing. He did a biology degree, worked in the hospital, changed, and he's in Manke now, and he's looking to do extra thing in addition to what he's doing right now. Yeah, and I have an MG1 tomorrow. The next thing you should do, immediately text him here. I enjoy have a conversation with you, right? Looking forward to meeting you again. But for him, I said, you know what, I want to talk a little bit more to you about the mentoring program I mentioned about you because he said he was interested. And right away, he text back, we can meet so I'm doing an MG1 within Sunday tomorrow, right? Before I used to wait and time passed and the interest was lost, and you know.
As our plan said, 24 hours, 24 to 48, after that, forget it.
Right.
It's over, So because you're still, that conversation is still fresh in your mind, and they really want to, the same thing yesterday, we went out with Miss Carol, it was her birthday yesterday, we have to sing happy birthday, but not right now. We'll sing happy birthday to her a little later, but we went out yesterday, we had lunch, and then after that, we went to, we kind of went our own ways, and we went to TJ Maxx, and there was this very sharp lady there, and we had a conversation, you know, a very nice conversation. She works for AT&T. You know, she just moved from Dallas to here. She's really excited about, you know, working with the company and blah, blah, blah. And so then I said, great, you know, and then she said, so what do you do? You know, and then so I just dropped my story, told her what I did, and then she said, oh, we should exchange numbers. She was the one that says we should exchange numbers. I'd love to talk to you some more. I said, great. We exchanged numbers. I got the number yesterday. I'm going to text her on my way back now. Let her know that it was really nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. Set up the appointment where we can. So don't waste time. We find that the longer you wait, the interest leaves, and then it's no longer, you know, it's not relevant anymore. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so the daily habits we talked about. The weekly habits are what? PACE meetings. We talk every week. There's a PACE meeting where you guys every week. Right, PACE meeting, phone teams, and the open meetings for you guys. Okay, on a weekly basis. And those are the things that you need to do. The monthly or what? What are your monthly habits?
Oh, the zero, yeah.
You know, getting that ditto set up, you know, set that up. If you don't know how to do it, sit down with the upline, let them show you. There's
No, well, that's one part of the list of things that you should do as
they're talking to
us
your,
and you, right? What you go through there, go through the steps with them. Right, walk them through the site, set up the digital profile, okay?
You need to sit down. That is important. It takes about half hour to 45 minutes to actually sit down and set up the ditto profile. Okay, if I show you guys, then maybe I will. I'll pull it up and show you what our profile looks like. And every month, you know, it sets it up, you know, based on your usage of things. It sets it up, you know, if you need it every month or every 6 weeks or whatever. And it is awesome, guys, you know, to be able to have that every single month, you know, just come without, I don't even think, I don't have to worry about, oh, I don't run out of toothpaste, or I run out of mouthwash, or I run out of soap powder, because it just comes, it just automatically comes to the home, and it is a peace of mind, you know, and then everything else is all the fluff, like Miss Carol, all the makeup stuff, and yeah, the makeup things, all the new colors that just came out, you know, those were all added to my volume. You know, we also have what we call the, for us, you know, again, using those Visa cards, the volume adds up. Like, I think 90 PB last month was on the Visa, you know, because we use it, you know. And so understand that every single month, those PB add up. So make sure that you're getting those monthly, the yearly habits. So, of course, we have 4 conferences a year that Khamta talked about. We have the 4 BBS, the business building seminars. Guys, and if you're serious about this, I'm telling you, if you think of this as a hobby, it's a very expensive hobby. Okay? It's a very expensive hobby. But if you look at it as a business, it's the cheapest business you'll ever have. Right? And it will pay you like you can't even imagine. So I think that's it.
So we went to the last BBS that had, there was Nick and Stephanie, and they have the leadership before. There's something that struck me that one of the leaders there out there spoke. He said, do not be a downline that your upline have to bring a cross line to tell you what they want you to hear. I was like, man, you know, do not be a downline. You understand that? Do not be a downline that your upline have to bring a cross line to tell you what they want you to hear.
What they can't tell you.
What they do, right? Okay?
On your chest.
That's very serious. Because there are some times that the downline, so up the downline, not listening to the upline. Right? Or they think they're smarter. They are smarter, right? You know? And again, when you have the things like that, that relationships are always, you know, it creates, when you have a situation like that, it creates something called what? Bottleneck. Right? It's stronger. It's like you ever seen that the stork and the frog?
Yes.
Right? Trying to swallow the frog. The frog. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? But that's what it does. It strangles the business. Right? If you have situations like that. Oh, you don't need those things here. This business here is a nice and easy, simple business if you follow the system. Right? If you take out like whenever we go to meetings, they say, you know, leave whatever you have outside when you come in to meet a big smile on your face. But it's the same thing here. Leave, try to leave out all the little, and you know how you do that? If you are in the zone, if you are in the building mode, in the business zone, little things will not matter to you. Right? And there are always little things, not only in the business, in the life. Okay? Right? There's small things, you know, that, you know, people waste time with bothering. I call it bickering. Right? Who's going to do this or who should do that or what? Everyone should do their roles of responsibility. Right? Like, if, how do you work with a new launch? Right? How do you work with a new launch? You know how to do that? Right? Yes. How do you, somebody said something? Oh, well, you did?
Yes, sir. What do we do launch?
Yeah.
You, of course, access the list, have to go to the list.
Right.
The list. You walk through the house, I have to completely change my habits themselves, their business. This is the night the core run starts.
Right.
There's a couple other things.
But everything is what?
Part of the partnership.
Right? Everything is about honoring the partnership. It's all laid out for you guys. There's no guesswork no more. Right? So you know exactly what you need to do to work with the new launch. So if you launch somebody, should I myself or say Sanjeev all the way in New Jersey, should they be the one working with that person? Right, they can help you do something, but they're not here physically. You're the one who gotta do it. And if you don't know how to do it, or you don't honor the partnership properly, then you cannot able to what? Duplicate properly. Right? Make sense? I might be able to talk people into the business. I could probably run them through the whole process. In fact, we did that the first one. Right, Nadia? Right? Want to talk a little about that? The first, if you can run somebody through the process, right?
You do guys so many we talked to me about any cars.
Yes.
That's in couple.
Right.
I've been talking about.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so getting somebody,
Like I'm talking about running somebody through the
Yeah,
process
so-
and not really
Absolutely.
identifying the red flags or seeing it.
the thing about it is that once the process had just instituted, you know, everybody's excited about going through those steps, right? Running through the steps, making sure, so it's like once we were done with MG1, we didn't even bother to think, you know, okay, automatically MG2 has to come. And there were flags, there were red flags there. And we
All the way
addressed,
through,
yeah,
yeah.
we addressed a few of them, but it was like the couple, you know, oh yeah, we got this, da, da, da. We like more or less fluffed it where we felt, this was probably the right time to launch this couple. Turns out as soon as they got launched and then we found out the real story that, you know, they really can't afford this, they can't, da, da, da. And I'm thinking, you know, had we known this, and we told them right up front, hey, had we known this, we wouldn't have launched you. We would not have launched you had you guys been upfront and honest with us.
Because they're setting themselves up for failure.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And so we want to make sure that we don't ignore those red flags, you know? One of the red flags is if, you know, for you guys, I don't know how you guys move around here, but for one of the things, it was like, they didn't have a car, you know, they couldn't move around, you know, and we're thinking, how are they going to come to meetings? But, you know, we'll figure it out. You know, you kind of think, oh, we'll figure it out, you know, because they had Ubered a couple of times
Right.
and came to the meeting, and we didn't know they didn't have a car. Till we sat down with them and we talked to them, and then they said they Ubered to the meeting. We're like, oh, you know. But then you know, so you kind of started ignoring some of the flags, and then you know,
in your anxiety to launch people, you do it.
exactly.
Right.
And so understand that it's not that important to launch. You want to launch the right person. So in that process, that you're going to find things that are not right. Sit down, step back, and ask questions.
Yeah, like for example, Nadia and myself, we have done a lot of MGs and we take people through the process and come to a point that we say, you are not ready to go to the next level because of either this or whatever we see at that time. And before we can go to that next level, you need to get these things taken care of.
You have to figure it out.
Either maybe they don't have time management or time or the money to get started, or, you know, or they don't have transportation, you know, those kinds of things, you know, right?
As a upline, you're not Lyft, you're not Uber, you're not their ATM, you're not. So understand all these things. So if you get these things clear, you know, then you know what you're looking for. How about that? You know, I mean, if you have somebody that's really eager, then they'll be willing to do what it takes. If they're not, then don't worry about it. Okay, that's not a good launch. All right. All right.
So,
Did you do this? That's what I was looking at.
okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, you know, one we ask about questions, you know, like give us feedback and stuff. And one of the things is, how do you create momentum? Okay. How do you get momentum in the business, and how do you get? Well, the way you get momentum is that you have a lot going on. Basically, you should have at least 10 to 15 people in the process. Some level in the process. MG1, MG2, follow-up 1, all these different things. If you have 10, I mean, you're humming. You know, that's good. You know, 5 is good. You know, 3, you know, you're getting there, you know, but you should have people in the process. You should have people at every step of the process. That's how you create that personal momentum, okay? To be able to have group momentum when those people start to launch, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think your downlines are seeing? Khamta and Nadia just launched 6 new personals. What do you think that does to them? Absolutely. What am I doing? You know, that's exactly what they're thinking, and that's how you create the group momentum. Okay, so first it starts with you. Understand that everything in this business starts with you. Okay, you create that momentum by having so much activity happening in those different, like I said, the different phases of the launch. Before our pre-launch, you have to have many people in that. And then as you're popping them out, you know, it starts to happen. If you're going through the process right, the launches will happen, right? If you're addressing the red flags, if you're going through all the different concerns, different things that are happening, if you're doing that, it's either a go or a no-go. It's either you're gonna launch them or you're not gonna launch. But you'll know that, right? You'll know that throughout that process. You would know, and how are they dressing? You know, and don't ignore these things, right? If you're talking to somebody about a business meeting, how do they show up? You know, do they come late? You know?
Well, that's another example of another. We are working for a same force launch with the lady
Which one?
for the same couple that we had launched initially, and then we were working with them.
Oh, yes, yes. With that same couple that Khamta and I talked about, that we, you know, launched them, even though we saw the red flags. Well, she got someone for me to do an MG1 for. First of all, she showed up late. Showed up in shorts and like terrible. She had to apologize for her not dressing up. And I was like, okay, well, you give people the benefit of that. Second time again, she was late, and I ended right there. I was like, I sat here for 15 minutes, you know, we had this time. And again, her appearance was not any different. You know, it came a little bit different, but I figured this is not the right person. And I'm not looking for a problem. Okay? So I just said, that's it. You know, I don't mean it in any bad way. I'm sorry, you know.
No, it's not savage. You don't want to work easy, smart, right?
Absolutely.
Because you know, they go through the whole process, and she's gonna come to a meeting just the same way.
And that would be an embarrassment for me. I'm sorry, I'm bringing you to my my business partners. I don't want you showing up any which way.
Right.
You know, these things I hold very sacred to me. And I feel everyone should have that standard.
Standard
It is a matter
makes
of
sense.
your personal standards.
Mm.
And if I felt that that was not right, then you need to cut it. And so I did. I told her at that point that we couldn't go through with the, of course I never saw my book back, but, and that's okay, because that happens, okay? But, don't ignore the red flags. If you're talking to somebody and they know they're showing up for a business, they should be a certain,
Before I forget my thought process. No, it may not just be that. The thing about it also, sometimes in our dropping a message or so, or maybe in our energy, maybe we have not really conveyed to the people properly so that they value why they need to come to meet you properly. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Right? It's like maybe my message was weak, right? So they come not, anyhow, kind of like, it has no value to them, they come in late or, right? So understand, and when you drop your message, right, it must be properly dropped, right?
That's a good question. When you speak with your friends about trying to get into this business, how would you approach that? Are you supposed to approach them as though you don't know them, you want to quit it?
No, but that's a different criteria. Friends are different and straight.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Who's working with you, they will walk you through the process. Right, in the beginning, they're your coach, and the thing.
I'm sorry, I've got a question. I'm an author right now, I'm wondering how to actually handle it. What were they felt we went to the MG1. He wasn't there for because he was just coming for work. And then the MG2, he's coming for work again.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, we might address for occasion.
Right.
And the MG2, he intended to come like that again. And what I ended up doing, I ended up actually put the process on hold.
Right.
Because the way I was looking at it, it's like when I come from work, I have my clothes in the car.
Right.
So there's no reason why you should have my clothes in the car too, especially if you got my time. And how would you handle that? If it's the same or how would you handle it? Would you
Exactly. I put it on hold. Again, because like you say, he doesn't value what is being offered him. If you go in for a job interview, think about it. How are you going to do it?
But at the same time, these people are not looking at it as a job interview because to tell them this is not a job.
Right. There's not
So
nobody
that's,
saying.
to me, that's making it confusing because it's not like we're telling them the whole cream of the crop opportunity on the first 2, 3, or even 4 meetings that we have. So how do we tell them this is important without trying to say that?
No, I'm sure you're telling them it's a business opportunity in the beginning. And you drop a message. Is that what you say?
Yes.
Right. So it's a business opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if I'm going to go meet with someone who's offering me a business opportunity, I'm going there to kind of impress a little bit, right? I'm not going to go like I don't care. Right. Make sense?
I feel like it's a combination between, it's like, you're saying it's not a job, so there's no type of demand. It's like a date. If you ask your girlfriend, like, let's go on a date, there's no like criteria to what you're gonna wear, but if you want to impress, you're gonna wear nice. So, I mean, it would just, if I want to impress whoever is trying to give you an opportunity that.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. And that is it right there, is if you're trying to impress that person, you would want to be dressed a little bit.
I think that's a common sense thing.
It's like they have someone on.
It's not very common.
Put it on hold the second go around, is because the first, when he came to the MG1 like that, I addressed it. And then you took the couple of them. That was the problem that I had.
And the same thing with the young lady, I addressed it right away. I said, were you coming from the park or something? Because she looked like, she said, yeah, I went with my kids, blah, blah, blah. And then the second time you came.
And that also is an indication of if someone is open to mentoring. Because when you're telling that person like you did, hey, listen, this is how we dress, or you're actually starting to mentor them right there. And if they didn't pick that up and listen to them, they don't understand what mentoring or don't even value it, Right?
Yeah. So don't be afraid to walk
No,
away.
no, walk away.
There's enough people out there,
Yeah.
like you don't need everybody. You need just a selected few. And you need the ones that are gonna be, like keep their campus and open to the mentorship, willing to change, willing to make the adjustment needed to be able to accomplish what it is that they're looking to accomplish.
I know one thing that I've personally done, I don't know how confident I feel about it, but I know I'd ask, like, I'd probably ask about if the meeting is, if the time that we set for whatever MG it was, if they have worked before. And I'll actually ask, so would you actually have time to dress up properly for what we're gonna do? And actually get them to, because sometimes I realize people don't think 100% true. Like we're trained to think now a little bit better and to kind of mentally walk through logistically how our day should be. And I realize some people don't think about it unless you ask questions. And when they ask me, I'm like, oh, you know, you're right. Could we move it back to about 130 more minutes or 70, so that they can have time to change? And sometimes they might just need that mental prompt. But if I did it once and they still didn't come dressed, it's all over, baby. You know, right? But the idea is that I started to not assume that people have common sense. So like if you have a meeting, then to plan. So I don't know how that guy, if that was coachable or if he had to, you know, if he was that kind of guy. But either way, you know, that has worked for me in the past, but you're right, sometimes people just don't listen, you know?
Are they willing to change, you know, basically be able to get what it is that they're looking for, you know, and do you want me to text that to him
I think he's sending me the right now.
through email?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's through email. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So in a few minutes, you guys are gonna get to see our mentors, our diamond upline for each and every one of you. He's actually gonna speak to you guys. So that's really an honor. We need to make some noise when he get on so that he can you know, see that Tallahassee team is well and alive. and you guys are going. But anyways, just getting back before he comes on. Is there anything else that
Any questions so far? No? Anything to clarify or honoring the partnership? There's no? Okay, so. No.
What was the name of the book? The last book?
Relationomics.
Yeah, we're getting that soon, by the way, yes. Our order was delayed, so we're getting that soon. Yes. Yes, that's it right there.
So, I was like, I always said, it's not like,
Relationomics. Good.
yeah, similar sort of stuff. Yes.
Got you. Good, good, very good.
I feel-
Got you. Yes, I think some people got it. Yeah, yeah, I'm sending you the invoice now for it actually, so I'll invoice you, like I told you, yeah.
I don't know this thing, and it's so, it holds you, right? Every page pretty much, you know, it's like, yeah, man.
And you can almost tell when it comes to red because there's underlines everywhere.
Not just underline.
Neatly underlined. Yes, he takes his ruler. And underline. He's that very specific about it. But yeah, so it is definitely a great book for you to because again, this is a people's business, and what we have to get good at is our people skills and knowing how to deal with people. That is the bottom line. Through everything that we do, taking people through the process, taking them to going through all the different steps. That relationship is building, and if you don't know how to build that, it'll be a problem. So go ahead.
One thing, I just really help someone with a partnership that have disorders.
They have what?
Mental disorders. Like, it's hard to really work with them like you do with others. How would you work? How would you do that?
Yes, we just sent him the
How
link
would
right
you help someone that has mental disorders on the partnership? And also the parent is not that much different.
Tell me what would you do?
Well, when I was speaking with the young fellow, I was working with him, and then I stopped his process because I wanted to get his mom involved.
Okay.
You know, because it's to the point where he's not allowed to work. So he's not allowed, but he's like trying to get a job because of the situation. And then talking to his mom, trying to get her on board, bring her through the process along with me, for some type of guidance. And she's not that. She's looking to heal, but she's looking for support. But because of this situation, it's going to be a lot of strain on her. You know, and I don't know.
Ask yourself a question, is he going to be able to duplicate what you're doing? Be honest. Yes or no? That's straight question.
I feel like we
No, it's a yes or no question. Is he going to be able to duplicate it?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's not about, and it's not being hard or cruel, right? You know, like Omar said, he doesn't have a sin in front of his name.
Right, you're not gonna save everybody or help everybody, honestly, you
But
can't.
if you want to take on, like Nadia said earlier on, that as a project, I will stop. Right?
You know, his dream is over, really motivated.
You are not drinking goals, yeah, but is that what you want to take on in your business and in your life at this time? Right?
Because you have to understand that you will have to be very patient. You will have to be, there's certain things that you're gonna have to, go over and over, because of the capacity that he can grasp all this. And so, like, that's what he's saying, if you're willing to take that on, then you go for it, but if you feel that,
This person is family. That's the,
And
that's why it's like a touchy.
you know how brothers who mentally okay and I'm not taking them. Because some family become projects. They don't want to listen to you, right?
the way you can help them is you become very, very successful, and then you can help them funnel their whatever dream it is that they want to do. If it's maybe do something else in their life, you can help them out.
And we had some a lady that from Alabama that we give her to somebody else. She's a teacher and all of that, and it's very hard. They gotta go pick her up.
Maybe we, a couple of other books that we have in our book list, and help them out that way to see if we can get them onto that, mindset, in terms of.
Yeah, but don't forget again, also this is all about duplication, right? So any individual here, you must learn the process properly, because if you do not, then the people that you're sponsoring, you're not going to be able to go further than the first level.
And then you guys need to just take a look at your business and see, has it gone beyond that point,
Right?
that first level? And if it isn't,
I might be able to sponsor a lot of people, right? But if I don't have second, third depth or leaders development, then the person here, have not learned how to do the business properly. Right? Whose responsibility is that? Is it the person, their responsibility, or is it my responsibility? It's my responsibility to what? To learn the process properly.
Some people have to get on a speed program, meaning you gotta do this much faster because you have so much going on, right? You don't have time. You don't have time to grow at my own pace. No, you've already given that part of it up because you're already bringing people under you. Does that make sense? So you have to get on that accelerated program.
Right. Yep.
So
Because if you're telling these people that you're there to help them, right? And if you're not going, how can you help them? Right? So that means you know, that's your commitment, not only to yourself, but to the people here.
absolutely.
Right? Yes, but the team is there to help you, and then eventually, right? You
It
will
is
have to
still
learn
your business, and the day you take charge and say, this is mine, you know, I can do this, I can follow, I can get the same results as if my upline is in there. Hey, hello, that's it. That's all you need, is to start getting the results as if your upline was there, right? If your upline was there working, they would get results, but if you can get the same results, then it is your business, then you have taken charge, right? Then you have said, okay, you know what, I can do this. You know, I don't need, not that you don't need your upline, but you don't need them you need them for different things. You need them for the coaching, you need them for the mentoring, but you don't need them to be physically.
right. You must ask yourself certain questions like, in my daily, weekly habits, am I growing personally enough to take charge of my business? Right? You must be able to sit and ask yourself these questions and answer it honestly. Right? And
So he's gonna say, I'm looking for my
yeah, and what was my thoughts?
That we will try to.
It's in my thought process. What was I still talking about?
You said you're
My personally growing to help the individuals, right? Because if you don't know to drop the message properly, what is gonna happen to the person that you brought down? They're gonna learn from you, right? And they're not gonna be able to drop the message properly. If you're not doing the MG1s right or the MG2s right.
Yeah, because it's duplication.
Duplication, right? So somewhere down in there, that duplication now gets diluted.
Where it becomes, what business are you talking about? Is this a business? Right? So you want to keep it pure. So you want to follow those steps and follow, you know, make sure that you're going through all that. So the people that you're bringing on board are, you know, you'll find that the growth, and they always said that the growth will be a little bit more slower, but you're bringing on better quality people, more trained people. The retention rate is better, right? You know that they're going to sign up again every month because, every year, because why? Because they're making money, they're growing, they're changing, they like who they're becoming, right? They're becoming that entrepreneur that you said when you met them, right? So those are the things that you have to, we're still waiting for our upline to getting on board, but if you just want to finish up, so when he's done, we'll be done.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And Sanjeev also asked if we could ask questions. He said he wanted to ask questions. So get your questions
Please write
ready.
down some questions.
Online as well, if you guys want to have any questions for Sanjeev, just write them down and so that we can get them to him.
So does it make sense about you honoring the partnership? Yes, no? Yep. Educating yourself as to what it is. It's just like in the classes. If you don't study and you get this exam, you're not going to pass, right? That's all. But it's the same thing here. It's not a pass and fail in terms of an exam. So you study it enough so that you can get into business. You know, you choose to get involved in this business. You went through the process, you said yes. Right? I always tell people, I'm not the one who really disqualify you, you're the one, you know, but you went through the process, you accepted the offer and all that stuff. everything that was now you got into the business. Now this is the day you told you that you tried it. This is the time to show you that it's going to take time and effort and commitment, and you got to read and educate yourself. You know, and then in 1 or 2 months into the business, you can start doing these things. You know?
And I think it's very important for us personally to be able to, every couple of months, and Sanjeev had said this, read the book Business of the 21st Century. You know, personally, keep, you know, like every couple of months, keep reading it back, because it refreshes you back to a lot of the basics, you know, the basic things about, you know, building. Like you talk to Sanjeev, you know, he knows pages of what, you know. He will tell you. Hi, Sanjeev. Yes, we got it. We're getting on there now. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Can you text that to the people online? So that would they see it?
Yes, I did. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use another computer and then share that screen.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
He said he's on.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so if you guys have any questions, just pass them down or.
Ask good questions, please.
No, Sanjeev, how do you honor the partnership?
I see questions is for us. Right, Sanjeev,
Now you can text me.
Right. Let him have to think about the answer. In the meantime, they're doing that, I want to talk something about the points, the PV. I cannot explain it, it's just something that happens, right? We've seen it over and over in our businesses. That if the person here doesn't do the PV, or they do the PV in the last week, in the month, and all of that, without even knowing it, somehow it is duplicated here. Just seeing it out, right? So sometimes we may have a team of about 15 people inside here, and we should have at least 1,500 points. Maybe till the last week in the month, just see that point show up, right? Now, you know, if everything was done in the first week of the month, which do you think is better, the first week or the last week? Why the first week? You have 3 more weeks to do other things to bring it up to the next level. Right, because sometimes one person may not do the thing and you end up at 1,400 points, right? And if you did it in the last week, some people even do it in the last day, right? And you know, then you'll be missing a bracket, right, of 100 points to put you to the next bracket, but you had a whole month to figure out how to do that, right? So that's one of the importance of doing your points in the first week of the month. Most people these days now are in the partnership truly does their personal PV, or they did it on the first day of the month. You know? Okay. Also, again, remember we talked about teamwork, right? How important this teamwork is, right? Supposing this is my office, Sanjeev, and he for him to be a diamond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. And this is Khamta and Nadia. And all 5 of these people did everything in the first week of the month, right? And they don't qualify the first week of the month. Khamta and Nadia, you know, procrastinate and lackadaisical.
Yes.
He's on?
Yes.
There he is. Come on, make some noise.
All right. Hey, Sanjeev.
Where is he? There
Can
he
you
is.
hear?
I said,
Yeah, I can hear you.
this is our sponsor, Sanjeev.
Well, I cannot see you.
Oh.
Can you hear?
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. kind of software engineering thing here.
There's some feedback.
Yeah.
Wanna put it away?
Oh, I understand.
Yes, because a lot of things going on here.
I just, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, and what we're gonna do is probably ask everybody who's online to jump into the meeting. Yeah, if everybody online, you guys can hear us?
No, we're on mute.
I know I'm mute.
Okay, everybody. Don't want to go to meeting.
See that, is it the two computer that's making the problem? that's almost, you know. They know Samway, they know what they're So make sure that you get your ticket, guys, book your ticket online, get your rooms, all that stuff covered, because it's gonna be incredible. This is the first time that we're actually gonna go, well, in a long time, it'll just be the Nardoni Miller group. So there'll be no Gala there, it'll be just Miller and, Nardoni and us for Gala. So it'll be our group. The debut nurse is from Florida here. And of course, now I heard my upline with Shauna's eyes. I'm really excited because before I was thinking of even going to Syracuse just so I can see my upline. You know, we don't get to see them often. So, but it is exciting that they're going to be there for a couple. So that's it, guys. I think we're done.
Maybe I can talk to y'all after this. We had somebody that's in the zone.
Okay.
I know we got people coming up.
Did you had someone had a person that went to the open meeting?
Yes.
And they got the CD? Okay.
That's true.
You got the CD. What are you following through with that?
Yes, ma'am. She just came back from spring break.
Okay.
They had spring break. We got a follow-up one with her.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. Good.
So, and she's going back next Tuesday. Well,
She's gonna go back. Okay, so if she goes back, let her take the CD and give it back to Darian.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good.
On the travel up to Virginia. It's there all the way that she can ride with.
Absolutely. You gotta let me know in advance, and we have to make sure, not maybe, we have to know for sure, because they're renting, and so they're getting the space allocated, so if she's gonna come for sure, then she needs to, you know.
I mentioned to her, and she seems like she's very sure.
Awesome.
So, I'll let you know.
Good stuff. Make sure you get your ticket. Okay, we'll look for you in Richmond.
Right. Ms. Carl has a question, guys.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you explain the number 4?
Number 4 is the same thing, for the
Yes.
Basically, what it's saying is like, I'll show you the numbers so you'll understand.
Okay.
Okay? So, if you do say 100 points, right? And it's 3 to 1 is $300. That's your IBO price, right?
Yeah.
And so if you was to go outside and do the retail, if you was to buy the same thing, it will be about $450, right? So this $150 difference goes into your business account.
Okay, so whether or not you put your ditto for retail or whether or not you pay yourself, it's the same thing, right? So you can either do your ditto at retail or you can pay yourself that money. Take that money out and put it into your business account.
So this is
your
used
profit.
for the books, it's the streaming, the functions, and all those things.
What's that?
Right?
That's good.
Okay.
I like that concept.
Yeah, because that's where you get your money from to build the business. Because everything is funded, you know? Just like you said, if you're gonna buy at Walmart, you're not gonna go say, oh, I need my special price. Can I buy at wholesale? Sorry, retail is what it is, right? So it's the same concept, you know? You pay yourself at retail, and then you use that money to fund it back into your business, while you create some extra volume from customer. Because the volume from customers are awesome. You get the retail profit plus you get the volume.
Right.
You get paid from on the volume. So make sure that you guys are working on getting that 10 good customer, client customer, whatever you call them. You know, if they're family members, set them up on Ditto. You know, set them up so that they don't miss out on their products and they get they get that every month. Make sense? Okay.
Anything else? Anything else? We good?
Guys, have any questions, any thoughts, things that's been on your heart? Anything?
Not gonna see us back for another month or so.
Yeah, Richmond.
Yeah.
Earlier earlier you were talking about if you're on the system, your PV is 250.
No, just this here, just thing is 100 points is 3 to 1 now.
Yeah.
300. So 100 points is 300. 3 to 1.
I think what you was talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about the being in the system. And
Oh,
you
okay,
guys,
okay. Yeah, if you're on the system, right? The knowledge and information that you get from being on the system is equivalent to, would be like if you're 250 PV in it. The system is everything.
Books,
The books, the
streaming,
streaming,
association,
association.
functions.
Because remember, Sanjeev said the first asset is what?
Yourself.
Right, so you're building that asset. Okay?
And what I've learned from the Charles and PB leadership, when we were on that, one of the things that one of the ladies says, when they go to, when you're talking about building assets, right? You're going and you're talking to a client or a prospect about building assets. You want to, at that point, clarify one of the first asset we build is you. So then when they understand that the first asset is them, then they wouldn't be worried about the books, they wouldn't be worried about the streaming, they wouldn't be worried about, because what is that? That's going into them, that's their asset, that is building themselves. So does that make sense? So that's when you go through those things, those are one of the things. And then the second asset that we help you to create a business whereby you can eventually get that asset when you move, because, and you let them know also, when they get started, they're what? They're like on that S quadrant, correct? They're still on that S quadrant because they're sort of self-employed, right? So they're still on that S quadrant. So in order for them to get from that S to B is where they create that business asset, right? That's when it starts to come in, where you start breaking platinums, and you start making that ongoing income. So that's where the asset comes in. Like they said, the book says 500 people or, whatever that is.
Right, so just let me explain a little bit more. If you have a group like this and they say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30 people in that group, and say only 5 people are on the education system, you say that's equivalent to 1,250 PV of business coming out. Okay, doesn't make sense now, but you have a group of 13 people. You see that the others are not educated, they don't know what to do, right? So that's how important the system is.
And the faster you have people on the system and being educated, the easier your business becomes, right? So as an upline to that person or as a mentor to that person, what you want to do is you want to get them educated as soon as possible, as fast as they can. They can afford that because it makes your job easier. All the stupid questions won't come. I hate to say it that way, but you wouldn't get those silly questions like, what is the because if they're listening, if they're reading, they're growing. Does that make sense? So, and if the questions come at a higher level, and you're like, now I'm getting some questions.
The question that you want to ask yourself, I have a plan that I want my downline to be. Right? Am I that person that I want these people that I'm working to be? If you are not, then you need to make some changes.
And get on to, guys, I'm telling you, this is a business of, like you said, people will figure it out. They'll go up to find the information that they need. So you just make sure that you're that person there that, people will be like, you know what, I don't have to go beyond that. Like Khamta, I never had to go beyond Sanjeev and Shauna. We have a great friendship with Kumar and Anjali, but we never had to go there for counseling or anything else. Because Sanjeev and Shauna, they were, there, like he says, leader leads in front, and that's exactly what they were for us. So just make sure that you do your stuff, guys. You want to have a healthy business. You want a lot of people in your business, but you want good, educated people that are not educated, but educated through our business. And the mindset is there. So that's it.
I had one quick question. How about if somebody is going through and doing a heck of a lot of work, but they're not seeing a lot of the results? So they're taking a lot of people through MGs and a whole bunch of different things, but the numbers of their group ain't increasing or stuff like that. Is there anything that you can help somebody with that on?
Yeah, a couple of things could be the one, maybe the quality of the people is not right. Second thing is maybe they're not dropping the message properly, so they're not or they're not doing good MG1s and MG2s.
Yeah, I've heard a CD that says either the process is wrong or the processor is not right. So figure it out.
Right. Makes sense.
I also had a quick question about what your take is on advertising. Like, so in terms of customers. So like if I wanted to make business cards that specifically stated like what I'm trying to
business cards, okay, yeah. But not advertisement boards, they go.
Yeah, but not on Facebook, like this is what I do, everybody.
No, because
just specifically like
before, this business card is about beauty.
I have a beauty card. Okay, so what we do is go through Vistaprint to the website, and they have all our cards. They have Neutralite, they have whatever you want, beauty cards, whatever, you just put your name in there, whatever you specialize in. If you feel that you can market that particular line, go for it. Get a business card. Vistaprint.
Yeah, they're one of our partner stores.
Yes, they're one of the partner stores.
Correct, yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if you're into excess gear, or you can actually go to excessgear.com and go to the website through the partner stores. So it's specifically business cards, specifically excess, if that's what you wanted to do. Like how some people do commercial sales of excess, right? To bars and stuff like that. So we were thinking about doing that. We're having a little too much fun in that idea. But if you want to do that, they have beautiful websites, beautiful business cards that you can use to do that. So that's a great idea.
The one that you want to specialize in, if it's anyone, is the art Neutralite and the beauty card.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Because they give you the biggest
bang for your buck.
Thank you.
No problem.
So you get more profits, you get more PV. So that's what you want.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's it. Is there anybody online that has anything they want to share real quick? Kenneth?
I did text him. Okay. Could you hear us, Kenneth?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Shoot, we can't hear you. Hold on 1 second, Kenneth. Shoot. Is it? I don't know where it's going on. Somehow the audio isn't coming through.
Testing.
Yes, can't hear you guys at all.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hello? Yeah. It's because we were switching between a few computers, so the 4 speakers on them getting complicated. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Wonderful. Yes, we could hear you guys now.
Go ahead.
No, just start your 30-day core run as soon as you can, and Dale, I tried to use your email address and it didn't work. And I need to get a proper email address for you so you can get your list. And your Aaron had requested your list and your zero-based budget thingy. So the email I have isn't working. So yeah, and Jonathan and Carol and Anthony and Rod, we are on day number 10, I think, of the 90-day core run. And we intend to be at Seven Springs again. So
wonderful.
All right, wonderful.
We have Andrea and I personally have one person who's reading the offer email thingy, and I know Anthony and Carol can talk about they have 2 people they're going to be launching, so things are happening here in Atlanta, and we have 6 other people. Andrea and I have 6 other people in the pipeline coming through MG2, BP1, BP2, and all of that stuff. So we're looking to go way beyond Eagle, So Sanjeev said, lead by example.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Awesome. But yeah.
Rod, Jonathan.
Let me go first before the golden child goes. Awesome training as always from Khamta and Nadia. It was great to hear from Sanjeev and Shauna. I know for me, like Kenneth said, doing the 90-day core run has helped me tremendously in making sure I keep myself accountable and dropping a message every day. And of course, listening to Trevor and Lexi Baker and saying to myself that I have to look myself in the mirror every day. And if I didn't drop the message, that my mind's going to start setting in that, oh, well, you're probably not going to drop the message the next day if that keeps happening. So keep constantly trying to keep myself constantly to look myself in the face in the mirror and say that I did drop the message regardless of what happens. And through that, I actually have an MG0 tomorrow. And I'm actually talking to one of my old friends on LinkedIn who wants to talk to me next week. So I'm setting that up as well.
Wow.
And which leads into my question. If you drop the message and, really if they are looking and you say, hey, I got something for you, before you even get to NG1, should you go and try and do an NG0 or like get together and talk more about it in a little more casual setting before you do an NG1 so you can get a better grasp of what they're trying to accomplish by doing a business or why they're looking, basically. If that makes sense as a question.
Easy question.
It's okay.
His question was.
That if after they drop a message before doing the MG1, if you should use them together before in a more cautious setting.
I mean, that's up to you.
Yeah, that's a choice of yours, but that's like adding another step to the process,
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on the connection.
Yeah, it depends. If you drop the message right,
Right.
Right.
You won't need that extra step there,
Right. That's true. Yeah. The reason why I said that, I asked that is because, I talked to him before and then I saw him again a couple days ago. And so he said that he was looking into, starting a business and get into the whole how Amazon works. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So that's kind of what we do. And so, we should talk more. So I set up like a lunch with him. But I'm not necessarily sure why he wants to do it. So that's why,
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's a difference.
Yeah.
At that point, you can drop some of those questions, some of the MG1 questions that you talk about, like, what do you think about the mentorship? All these different things, like you can ask in between the conversation to see if he's really your candidate at the end of it.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay. That's the question I had. I wanted to ask Sanjeev that, but I didn't have a chance to. But anyway.
Yeah, you didn't do that. We forgive us. First of all, we didn't understand it was a question.
You made a statement.
Right.
But besides that, everything's going great. So yeah, go to Rod.
Yeah, Crystal wants to say hi.
Awesome.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to say hi to everyone. Thank you for Khamta and Nadia for putting together this this meeting so we could talk more about these things or just refresh or, hear them again. But the one thing that I wanted to say is that Brandon and I were working avidly on balancing our zero-based budget so that our potential candidates, we can say we did the same thing or we went through the same thing and, literally focus on your budget so you could redirect your sales as opposed to trying to fund the business from yourself.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Well, first of all, Rod here. First and foremost, I would like to thank our awesome mentors, our coaches, the best couple that could have walked into our lives, and we earned mentorship.
Making it hard for us, Rodney. Keep going.
Yes. So I always want to give it up to them.
Right.
I always have to give it up to them because their ability to lead and serve has just been a phenomenal ride for me throughout the journey in this business and throughout life. So always thanks to them for helping us get coaching and mentorship, not just in building our assets, but in life too. But as far as the asset building, I think Crystal hit the nail on the head when she talked about focusing on your zero-based budget. Like that is very, very, very vital to honoring the partnership. So I would, track your spending. The compound effect talks about writing down your spending. If you feel the need to, definitely get into that zero-based budget. Know where every dollar is going. I actually tracked it for, when I started working, I had to start tracking it because I didn't want to go too crazy. I still wanted to have a good budget, even at the level that I am at, in terms of income. It doesn't matter. I still budget, right, on a monthly basis. So get your budget right. Also focus on that 30-day car run because that has power. It's not meant for you to be perfect. It's not designed for you to just go in and start taking off and building a business. It's actually designed for you to start building confidence in yourself that you can build an asset, that this business will work for you and it can work for you as long as you put in the time and the effort. So the 30-day core run is key, and doing the daily habits on a daily basis is roped into that 30-day core run. So that puts you right on track to move on in the business throughout the phases. So that's the foundation of your business, doing the 30-day core run. Like Kenneth mentioned, we're on the 90-day core run, and have some folks in the process. Have a young man that's going to be coming out to the BP1 in Tallahassee on Tuesday.
He came earlier. I met him. Rod?
Yep.
Yeah, he came. I met him. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. So I have him going through the process, and some other folks in North Carolina and in West Palm Beach going through the process as well.
Wonderful.
So that's what the 90-day core run has allowed me to do thus far. And that's just the beginning. More people, more candidates, quality candidates are getting in the process. And then I can, assess who would be a good partner for me and also to introduce to my mentors. So, yep. The last thing I would like to say is, success doesn't care about your excuses. So whether you make up or not, success is not going to happen. So see you all at leadership. Yes.
Last night you mentioned something at your workplace.
Oh, yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that the BWW system how it has helped you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, for those that know me, you know the type of person I am. I go around and I say hi to everybody in the building. I don't care. I always have a smile on. It doesn't matter. So some of my colleagues, they picked up on it and they were like, how do you know all of these people? How do you get into these conversations at work? Like, how do you know these upper level managers? And I even had an instance where I reached out to a manager, and my manager, upper manager, they call him upline at my work too, right? So I have like an upline at work. So I reached out to a higher upline, and my manager was like, "Did you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, just trying to meet people, trying to network." But what Khamta and I was discussing last night is the power of the BWW system, because my colleagues were actually asking me, like, how do you form these relationships? We need that networking skill. we don't have it. That's something that we lack. Or how do you speak so well in the meetings, or how do you articulate yourself, and all of this stuff they're catching up on learning. They might be really, really good at the tech stuff, but they don't have any life skills, I want to say, in terms of, networking and getting out there and all of this stuff. And then I also have those colleagues that on a weekly basis, they want to go out and they spend a ridiculous amount of money on food. And I'm like, that's against my budget, so I got to pass on that one. They go out and they do like expensive brunches and stuff like that. And because of the BWW system, I don't do those things. I'm not in the know with the latest Hulu and the Netflix. I don't have any of those subscriptions. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I just have internet at my place, and that's it. That's all I need. I just need to be connected to stream and, do my daily habits. So that's all I had. They just picked up on, what I learned through the BWW system is actually making me more valuable in my job and at work every day.
Wow, poor Rodney. Poor Rodney.
Okay, so who thinks Rodney sound like a diamond?
Boy, proud.
He's a diamond.
Real diamond.
He has to catch up.
Yeah, for real. Poor Rodney. Cheese and bread. All the best of those.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, team.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely love Tallahassee. We love to come here. But the next time you come here, it has to be a capsule.
Yes, Crown. Absolutely.
So we just need you
Just
guys.
double up.
We need every single one sitting here to be at Seven Springs because you can. Okay, 6 honorary partnership leg is not a big deal. Don't make it a big deal. So it is an incredible resort. CJ was there.
CJ can tell you about it.
So, yeah.
About the food,
yes,
and the
a whole
fun.
lot more. They're actually doing a lot more for all the newcomers. They're looking at maybe Thursday night possibly to get you guys to come in so they can have a banquet for, Kumar he's going all out. So it is a weekend. It's gonna be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
But
Sunday.
during the day is all fun.
The only time you have meetings are in the evenings, which are good. By the time you're done, exhaust yourself, sometimes you could.
They have this thing called an alpine slide. That city we heard all the way from top.
My kids that were down, and then they're like, oh my God, is that serious? I said, yeah, that's hard.
It's scary, guys. Very scary. But it's good. You want to go do it right again, again. So.
But it's going to be
awesome.
an incredible weekend with diamonds, double diamonds, emeralds. All of Kumar's leaders are going to be there, and it's going to be incredible. So qualify, fight for it, and do whatever you have to do to be there. So that's it, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, sure.